Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Wired for Success podcast. Today, we are discussing about I don't know. Have you heard this before? I'm sure you have. You ask a question to your teenager, and what do they answer? I don't know. The dreaded answers that all the parents get frustrated about. It's such a frustrated response, but I think there's so many things tied to it. And today we want to discuss this with you and give you a little bit of strategies on how you can manage this. So this is the Wired for Success podcast with my colleague Steve Costello and myself, Patience Modevi. And today we are talking about I don't know. So welcome, Steve.
Thanks, Patience. Do you know what? I think I don't know is often really badly misunderstood. I don't mean that in a mean and horrible way, but we sometimes misunderstand it. I don't know can be, it seems like a catch-all. I can't be bothered. What are you going to do about, I don't know. What about, I don't know. It's kind of easy to say. Sometimes it could be because our young people actually don't want to talk about this right now in this moment because they're processing. They process in a slightly different way to the adult version. They don't have the experience of all kinds of things. That means that they have to process things in a different way. And sometimes we, as parents, adults, we might get frustrated. I don't know is a bad response. It's a catch-all response that doesn't actually get us anywhere, but it may be getting the young person somewhere. So we've got to be aware of that. And I think that's really important. It's not always because they don't want to talk.
Mhm.
And it's not always because they don't have a clue about the
What's
question
going on?
that they
Yeah.
answered, I don't know to. Sometimes they may not have a clue. We've got to remember that as well.
Yes.
Their experience might not have taken them down that road and they really don't have a clue and they need some guidance. So there's a ton of things that we can do as parents, as adults, to help out with that. But pushing and shoving is probably not the best way forward. I know that Patience can talk to that one because she has young people of her own in her own household. I have the same in mine. Okay, mine have moved out now. I just want to give you a quick example though. So my youngest daughter currently in a situation where finding work is quite difficult. She was working for a big hotel in our local, I was going to call it a city. It's not really a city, it's a big town. She was working for a hotel and it came toward the winter season and they said, okay, we've got to reduce our staff. And our daughter was one of the staff that was reduced. So that was difficult because she didn't have a job and she needs a job to pay for a rent of her apartment, etc., etc., etc. So it's a big kind of snowball effect. It's not as simple as go out and find a job because there's not that many jobs at this time of year. So she's got all of that going on in her head. She's thinking about going to stay with her older sister who lives in Australia. But to do that, she needs a job to save some money. She's thinking possibly of going to work with a friend in Belgium. Since Brexit, the rules are different. You can't just hop from one country to another and get a job as a non-European Union citizen. That's all
Okay.
changed. So she's got all of this I don't know in her head. There's a lot of it. So when I ask her questions, okay, what are you going to do about this? She doesn't know. She really doesn't know because
Mhm.
she's got also, I didn't mention this in the beginning, too much going on.
Yeah.
So much going on that she doesn't know because she doesn't know which is going to be the best way forward. She knows kind of what she wants, but she's not sure about which path to take and which path is the right path, even. So I just outlined something that on the surface might seem quite simple, but underneath it's like a big ball of string and it's all tangled up. And she's trying to untangle that string. And she doesn't need me or my partner saying, come on, why don't you know? come on, you've got to make a decision because that is never going to help. So where are you on this, Patience? What do you think?
I think I want to give even another example. So, for example, when I look at my middle son who is in year nine, so like about 14, 13, 14 years old. And when he comes back from school and I'll ask him simply, how was your day? And he will respond, I don't know. I think sometimes the obviously the I don't know is always frustrating. He's like, what do you mean you don't know? That's the first thing that comes up. What do you mean you don't know? But then it's just allowing, I think sometimes it's just allowing space because maybe I don't know, it's just I don't want to talk about it right now. And this is not, I've just arrived home, like just give me a break, because maybe also they've had a full day wherever they went. So they went to study, a full day, so many people coming at them from different angles. They just want to relax. They're like, I'm home. I'm in my safe space now, which means I need to have a bit of me time before I can come back and be social again with other members of the family. I don't know. I'm just giving this as another example,
I think
but we've
it's
got
a good
to,
one.
yeah, go on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I don't know. How was your day today? I don't know. So maybe think about it from a different angle. So, hi, good to see you, blah, 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 blah. Don't bother asking the how was your day question, but rather say something like, do you know what? I need a break. Me,
Mhm.
I need a break. So I'm going to make a coffee, tea, whatever it happens to be. Do you want one? Let's sit down. Let's have a break and have that cup of coffee or cup of tea. And then my day was really hard work today. I had so many challenges. Some of them I didn't know what to do with that. So I'm sharing what happened to me. I'm not putting any pressure on them. Quite often, that little reset is enough for them to suddenly say, "Oh yeah, today I felt or whatever." So it opens the doors to a different conversation, and you don't hear, "I don't know," which is an interesting way to look at it. There's a lot of psychological theory behind what I just talked about. It's keep it simple. Take a break, do something different, have a coffee together if that's what you do. Tell them how you felt because you get to say how you felt too. Quite often, I think as adults, we forget. We think we shouldn't be doing that. I'm the parent, I don't want to open myself up and say I have a really bad day today or whatever it happened to be. So it's quite a useful small tactic that enables everybody to pause, reset, and restart in a way. But I think you're perfectly right, Patience, about space. Surrounded by a couple of hundred other young people who are all going through similar phases of life is going to be challenging for a start. I remember way back in school, there were certain kids that were too stressy for me, and I didn't go to those particular young people. But yet I was influenced, I heard, I saw, and that kind of gets in there sometimes and it interferes with what's going on with you,
Yeah.
as an individual. And we've
Yeah,
got to
and
be,
even to add to this, the I don't know in that case even could be like a lot of heavy stuff happened, or maybe I had the argument with my friends, or I got detention. I don't know. It could be something like that I don't want to share. I don't want to be vulnerable about right now because that's not the time for me to share. And this is the thing because teenagers are in this transition phase. They're having more difficulties in, first of all, managing how they feel and their own emotions, um, things that they have, like their thoughts as well, and how to express this in sometimes a way that is gonna be more practical, or even the way we are talking right now. So we've had time to process this a long time ago, and now we can idly share. But you will find that even now, and this is a little on say parenthèse. Little, yeah. So, so basically, even now as adults, you will find adults that have difficulty in expressing their thoughts or their feelings and emotions. I think it's really, yeah, it's emotional intelligence, being able to say, you know what, I'm feeling this right now. I need a space.
Yeah,
And our teenagers, maybe they're not there yet.
yeah, absolutely. We can always help the situation as well by giving the, it's the I suppose young people are used to this in school, give them a multiple choice question. So do you feel tired? Do you feel angry? Do you feel moody? Do you feel stressed? Okay, you're not going to do it as quickly as this. So give them a number of choices. Do you feel any of those things?
Mm.
Actually, I do feel a bit stressed, or I do feel a bit tired. Why? What happened today to make you tired? Did you play sport at school? So you keep in a dialogue going. You're using open-ended questions. You're not demanding yes, no's, which I think is helpful.
Yeah. Completely. And even as you were talking about, please, parents, if you're listening to this or you're watching us, remember those are strategies that you can implement every day. So even when you were talking about like just making a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and just taking that time away, you're changing the environment. So it's no longer the like blah 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 blah. I'm being questioned, interviewed here. It's like, oh, let's take a break here, you know? And I feel like in that, so basically when Steve was sharing about the fact that we don't share how we feeling, it's also by acknowledging how we feel or even by sharing how we feel, is also helping them to validate their own feelings and to understand where they are, like to understand themselves. So what you're doing as a small thing that might seem, really trivial is actually you are setting the space, the scene for them to be more like vulnerable and to be able to open up more with you.
Yeah, perfect. And if multiple choice doesn't work, if setting a space doesn't seem to be working, then come back in half an hour, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever it takes. But say it out loud. Okay, this isn't a good time for you right now. Acknowledge. So I'll come back to you in half an hour. I'll ask you how your day went. And then leave it and do something completely different. Because that is another way of resetting. It's pause and reset. We all need to pause and reset, but sometimes we forget.
You do.
So we do. So we keep charging forward. And what happens at the end of the day? We're exhausted, we're stressed, we're ratty, a little bit impatient, all kinds of things happen because of it. But if we can use pause and reset, it's helpful. And another thing, just while we're on it, and I'm going to pick you up for this, Patience, I noticed whilst you were talking, you said, I don't know several times, but you weren't referring to young people. Now, it's not a crime. However, if we're routinely using phrases within our speech like, I don't know, but is another one that we use quite often that can be quite negative if it's not used correctly. So we need to be aware of the language we're using.
Yeah.
So if we say I don't know, we're saying it for a very clear reason, but we're not using it as one of those little throwaways. There's a ton of those little throwaways in every language. I speak 3 or 4 languages now. And in other languages, they do it as well. So we just need to be aware. I don't mean we need to assess our language. We don't need to freeze when we feel ourselves saying something that perhaps we shouldn't have. We just need to be aware. And if we're aware, that's helpful as well.
I love that. And yeah, weirdly enough, I did say I don't know. I'm thinking even of saying it again.
Yeah,
So it seems like I mean, so it seems there seems like really simple strategies, but you can see everything that is around um each different aspect we spoke about. There, I think one thing also, like obviously, we need to be able to understand where we are. So Steve was saying about sharing how we feel in the moment as well, which can be great to open up with the teens. But it's also understanding where you at, because that will maybe lessen the frustration as well that you get. So, and this is with a little bit with everything, but thinking it in this concept here is that if I am frustrated myself, and then I'm having a conversation with my son, and he's telling me I don't know on repeat, I'm already frustrated, so I'm already here. So this is just going up and up and up. So the idea is also to kind of like sense like, well, hold on, where am I right now? As I'm in this conversation, and maybe that can you can recognize from there how to stop as well.
yeah,
So Steve was saying, let's come back in half an hour. If you are already in that frustrated level, you're not coming back in half an hour. You are on the I don't know why, I don't know. But if you are in a step back and you're at a level where you're calm, you're serene, in a serene environment, it's easier to go like, oh, doesn't want to talk about it right now. Let me leave it for
yeah,
later.
absolutely. Here's a funny one to finish with. And this is about myself and my partner one evening last week. So I had a very busy work week. And I came home, we had dinner, and she said, do you want to watch? And it was a series we've been watching on Netflix. And I said, not really, but if you want to, I will. Now, I should have been a little bit more forceful. I really should have said, no, not really, thanks. I can't today. But I went with it because I knew she wanted to watch it. I managed 10 minutes in and fell asleep. So when it finished, she woke me up and she said, you managed 10 minutes and you fell asleep. And I said, well, I did say I wasn't too sure, but I should have been a little bit clearer. I should have said, actually, no, because I feel tired. I don't feel like my brain wants to engage with this stuff, and, uh, and I think we do that too often.
So
We do
many
it to
times.
please, we do it for a ton of good reasons, but they're not always helpful when we look back at them, you know. So I missed 50 minutes of something that I was quite enjoying in the days before. So I'm going to have to watch it on my own now to catch up. Shall I
Is there
be?
there's another episode coming? Is it different episodes
Yeah, it's a series thing. So yeah, there's other episodes to come. So I need to watch it before she wants to
to
watch the
catch
next.
up? Yeah. All right, everyone. So remember that there is a group option to obviously the work that we do here, where you can come in, join in the group, and be able to ask direct questions, and also for us to give you more strategies, but also to kind of like open up the discussion with other parents. Um, is it? Yeah. Am I right, Steve? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And so if you want, not if, when you are ready to join, simply leave us a comment or send us a direct message so that we can share with you the details for the group. Remember that we are working to help you have a better relationship with your teenagers. If you feel at this moment in time that you are going through a difficult period of time, or you're feeling like the frustration level keeps going up and up and up, just send us a line, and we'll be able to reach out and see how we can support you better. But until then, we'll see you next week.
Take care, everybody. Speak to you soon.
Bye.